So the first time I came across the term Mandela Effect was in 2016, and it was from this John Riggs Nintendo Entertainment System cartridge video in the comments section. So for those of you who don't know what a Mandela Effect is, I recommend looking it up on Google and seeing all the various examples of things you thought you knew but were completely wrong. Now, while I think 90% of Mandela effects are just us humans simply relying on our forgetful minds too much, I do think that there are some that you vividly remember one way, and it just seems wrong when you find out it isn't like that. For me, that would be the Fruit of the Loom logo. Anyway, whether or not these examples I give you are actually Mandela effects in Resident Evil 4 for you, let me know in the comments below. Number 1. Browser Fight Room Door. GameCube version versus every other version. So the first one is this weird change I didn't notice until I made my Resident Evil 4 glitch video 6 and 7 remake. And that is when you go past this door and turn around, you will see it is completely different in the GameCube version. But in every other version since then, it has been changed to match the other side. Number 2. El Gigante boss area trees in the daytime. So during the El Gigante boss fight, I think we all remember he can use these trees as a weapon. But I remember recently how I thought how funny it was that the PS2 and PC 2007 version didn't have them in the daytime when you enter this area. Now let me ask you, does any other version of RE4 have the trees here in the daytime? Well, the answer is no. Number 3. Yellow herb weird location. So when you think of where the yellow herb is in this room, where does your mind place it? If you were thinking this locker, you would be mostly right, as you can see. However, do you know what is in this locker in the GameCube version? No yellow herb. Here is where the yellow herb is actually located on the GameCube version. I personally do not remember the GameCube version having a different location for this yellow herb. Number 4. One of Krauser's drones can fire missiles. I think we all remember how annoying the one that fires bullets can be, but I do not remember seeing one that can fire mini missiles at all. Number 5. U3 green herb change. So this Mandela effect is different from the yellow herb one simply because not only on GameCube is this red herb here actually a green herb, but it is like this in the PS2 version as well. Number 6. Verdugo Matrix Dodge. While I remember Wesker being able to do this in the next game, seeing Verdugo do this in Resident Evil 4 seems weird to me. Like it doesn't actually belong here or something. Number 1. The missing green herb in Lava Room Reddit post. So, somebody remembers that there was a green herb here just sitting around this area in front of this third fire-breathing statue. Now, I don't personally remember this, but I think I might have an idea what they could be misremembering. But before we get into that, I just want to mention that even on easy mode there is no green herb here. So while the original poster remembers it being a static item, if he was playing the Wii edition or any version that came out after, when an enemy drops a green herb, it will actually show up in the glowing orb. And usually the orb light would be green, but in this room with the red lava it can make the green orb look white, which is the usual color of a static item, like it is an item just sitting there. The player probably killed an enemy around this area, and the item drop spawned in a spot where it would look like it was purposefully placed there, assuming the green herb was the item the enemy dropped. Let me know if you remember a green herb here or not in the comments below. Number 2. Ashley's PS2 pantyhose. If you look at this old IGN FAQ from 2006 made for listing the differences between GameCube and PlayStation 2 versions, you can find an entry in it noting that it appears that Ashley is wearing pantyhose or something on her legs on the PlayStation 2 version. Now I personally remember this myself, and in fact even had an iceberg entry for it in my RE4 iceberg video in 2022. And when making it couldn't really find any part of the PS2 version when played on a backwards compatible PS3 that looked like Ashley had pantyhose on. Ashley in this area is the closest to her appearing to be wearing pantyhose. This has been messing with me for about 4 years now, or so I thought, as now in 2024 I think I finally figured out what is going on. Only in some parts does it appear where Ashley's legs are darker on the PlayStation 2 version, notably when you tell her to leave this dumpster. Also in some rooms when she is ducking from the line of fire her legs do appear a bit darker. Also with this and the fact a lot of us played the PS2 version on a CRT TV nearly 20 years ago, and you haven't seen many people talk about it since it probably plays a factor. I noticed that because her legs are mostly out of sight most of the time, but can barely see them doesn't help, as if you think she's wearing pantyhose and don't pay close attention. You can think she is wearing them always, like right here. I still remember her legs appearing darker in most scenes on PS2, but I am also trying to remember stuff from over 17 years ago. That said, I also helped another friend in the summer of 2007 play through Resident Evil 4 on PS2, and can't say I remember Ashley's legs appearing slightly darker that time. My 2004 CRT TV is broken, so I can't test out how the PS2 version looks on it to see if it makes a difference. One thing I want to bring up: when researching this rabbit hole, I came across something weird. When comparing footage of Ashley that I recorded on a real GameCube and on PS2, recorded on a real backwards compatible PS3, is that Ashley's face when catching her here on GameCube looks less complete than on PS2. Her face almost looks incomplete on GameCube, like it's missing shading and details. Also, the emotion on her face isn't there like it is on PS2. I decided to record this same scene running on Dolphin and PCS X2 in higher resolutions, and look. It is tripping me out how much more detailed Ashley's face is when catching her in the water room is on PS2. Does this trip you guys out? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you all for watching this video. Special thanks to naturalreaders.com for the text-to-speech voice.